At the start of the movie, we are shown a chemical plant where new research and experiments are done, and dangerous nuclear and biochemical weapons are being made. This plant was in Libya, and there were many soldiers guarding it. We see the general there. He was very happy with his family, but his happiness was not long-lasting. Then, a soldier is killed by a sniper, and suddenly, a terrorist team attacks this chemical plant. Bombs started falling from helicopters, and some terrorists who were sitting in their vehicles were attacking the soldiers with guns. Now, the head of those terrorists who were attacking arrives. He was a very big terrorist who had caught the general and asked him about those dangerous nuclear weapons. So, this terrorist came to get those weapons. The general does not tell him about the location, so the terrorist threatens to kill him too. The general tells him about the bombs and weapons, but after knowing everything, that terrorist kills the general too. Now, we are shown a man named Bernie who had come to his friend's house. He was standing outside and listening to his friend shouting. His friend was fighting with his female friend, whose name is Gina. Gina was fighting with her friend Lee because Gina says that Lee, because of his work, does not give her proper time. Lee opens the door in front of where Bernie was standing. He had come to take him with him. Actually, Bernie lost his ring by playing gambling in a bar. He liked it very much, and it was very expensive, so he came to take Lee with him so that they could go to the bar and get that ring again. Bernie was a very good friend of Lee, so he gets ready to go with Bernie. On the way, Bernie tells him that the person who has his ring is the biggest gangster here, so they should talk to the bartender first so that he can take their ring back. When they go and talk to the bartender, he tells them that if they want the ring, they will have to fight with those people, only then can they take the ring. Now, Lee, who was very good at fighting, starts beating everyone one by one. He was beating everyone very well. Bernie, who was sitting far away, was watching all this very interestingly. When the last man survives, Bernie gets up to kill him, but that gangster's man returns Bernie's ring out of fear. Now, the scene of the chemical plant is shown again, where the same terrorist who had killed the general was now shooting and killing the remaining soldiers there. Next, we are shown the CIA headquarters, where we see the team of Expendables 4. Lee and Bernie also come there. Here, we come to know that these two are actually part of the CIA team, which was very famous by the name of Expendables. Gina also used to work with the CIA. Here, all these people are meeting a new companion. Lee and Bernie are told by their companion that they have got a mission which they have to complete soon. Then, their head comes to them, who tells them that their mission is to catch a dangerous terrorist. That is the same terrorist who had attacked a chemical plant in Libya and looted nuclear weapons worth millions. The head shows everyone his picture and also tells them about him. He has another companion who is a very big gangster. Now, they all sit in a plane and leave for Libya. When they reach Libya, the terrorist team attacks them. Because of this, Lee says they have to get down from the moving plane. All the team gets down from the plane, but Bernie is still in the plane. He leaves his companions there. The terrorist also has bombs and nuclear weapons, and after stealing them, when he is coming out of the building, Lee's companion tries to shoot him. But his eyesight was weak, and because of this, his target was missed. Then, Lee and his companion sit in the car and follow the terrorist. There was a ruckus. Bernie, who was sitting in the plane, was watching everything and tells Lee to catch him quickly. He is running away with the bombs. Lee, who was behind his car, sees Bernie's plane attacked as well. When Lee sees this, he tries to help him, but Bernie says, "First, you catch him and save the weapons that the terrorist is taking and running." After hearing this, Lee says, "Everything is gone to hell. First, I'll save you." Saying this, he changes his way. From here, his mission was ruined. First of all, Lee destroys the machine with which Bernie's plane was attacking. Then, a terrorist shoots Bernie's burning plane again, causing Bernie's plane to completely crash. When Lee runs on foot towards the plane, he finds out that Bernie has left everyone forever. He died in this devastating incident. After some days, the team of Expendables 4 was gathering in a bar and mourning for their friend Bernie. Their head comes there and says, "Lee, because of you, the whole plan is ruined. Because of you, our mission is ruined. So, now I can't keep you in my team, you can go." Lee's other companions also say that if he wanted, he could have completed the mission. He also wasted their friend Bernie's sacrifice, which Bernie had given for this mission. After hearing all this, Lee leaves from there. He was no longer a part of the team of Expendables 4. Now, he doesn't even have money, that's why Lee starts looking for a new job. He reads a newspaper in which he sees the job of a guard for a social media influencer, who was a very ill-mannered kind of man. That's why Lee fights that man on the first day, beats him, and leaves his job. Then, he comes home. After coming home, he remembers his friend Bernie, looking at his ring. He thinks that he will definitely take revenge on his killers. That's when he finds a file at his house. His friend Gina also comes to his house. She also used to work with the CIA, meaning she was a part of the team of Expendables 4. He asks Gina, whose file is this? She says, it's OT's file. This is about the time when Bernie had solved this case. Oswald was a very big gangster. There was a condition about this case that as long as any person is connected to this case and he is alive, no one can open this case now. Because Bernie was the only one who knew about this case who was left alive earlier, and now he is also dead, that's why we got the file of this case, and now we will take revenge for Bernie. Lee gives her a dagger and says, Gina, you take revenge for Bernie with this. Kill that killer with this. In the morning, Gina had left before Lee woke up. Lee also gets up quickly, gets ready, and starts checking the location on his mobile. Actually, the dagger he gave to Gina had a GPS system in it so that he could know where Gina is going with her team. Gina and her friends reached the head office of the secret CIA of South Asia. Here, Lee had left for Thailand. Actually, he had come here in search of an old friend of Bernie. When Lee meets Bernie's friend and tells him about Bernie's death, he was also ready to take revenge for Bernie's death with Lee. There, the team of the CIA, which is Expendables 4, is given their special weapons. Their head comes to them and tells everyone about the same terrorist who had attacked the plant in Libya and had also killed Bernie. He had now hijacked a very big ship, meaning he had seized the ship in which a lot of goods were being taken. He also says that Ocelot is also going to come on that ship, who is a very big gangster. This is the only chance they have to catch him, and now do your work carefully. Don't do it like you did in Libya, you had ruined all the missions, and that's why now I will also come with you. Gina now tells everyone about the mission and what they will have to do. She tells them that first of all, they will get off that ship with the help of a parachute. After that, they will first kill OT and then that terrorist. After that, they will get those nuclear weapons which were stolen from the plant in Libya, and then their mission will be completed. On the other hand, he talks to Bernie's friend, the one who had met him. He asks him, you were such a good friend of Bernie, so why did you leave him? Why did you leave him and go? He tells him, I killed a lot of people in my life, and I felt happy killing them. That's why it was very important to stop myself. I left everyone and came here so that I could change myself. Now it is shown on the ship. The team of Expendable 4 had also reached the ship, but on that ship, there was already an army of terrorists. They surrounded them from all sides and, by snatching their weapons, they had locked them in one place on the ship. After that, they all start accusing each other, saying who got stuck here because of whose mistake. Then the men of the terrorist come there and ask them, who is your leader? Hearing this, their leader says, I am the head, so they take the head of the CIA and take him with them. Meanwhile, Lee and Bernie's friend also reach near the ship. Bernie's friend leaves Lee on the ship and says, our companionship is over here. And now if the animal inside me wakes up, I will start killing people again. And no one will be saved from me. So, you go and take revenge for Bernie. After hearing this, Lee says, it's okay, I am alone enough for all this. Now he reaches the ship and sees no one was there. He thinks, there should have been bloodshed here. But how can there be so much peace? Now, when he goes inside the ship, a man from behind points a gun at him and tells him to stand like this and not to look back. Lee tells him not to look back or stand like this. In the same way, he traps the man in his words, beats the man, and leaves. Now we are shown a terrorist who holds the head of the CIA and talks live to the government, saying they should leave his friend, who was a big terrorist like him, otherwise, he will finish the CIA team there. Lee was moving forward after seeing the location of the dagger he had given to Gina. He kills the men of the terrorist on the ship and moves forward, reaching the luggage of the Expendable 4, meaning his friends. He had also taken an axe from the luggage and kept it with him, which was his partner's. There was a terrorist who was trying to contact his men, but no one answers him. Then Lee talks to him with a walkie-talkie and says, all your men have slept for a long time. When the terrorist hears Lee's voice, he says, oh, it's you. It's good that you came here. I will send you to your friend as soon as possible, meaning to heaven. After this, the terrorist sends his army to kill Lee. Lee kills everyone and moves forward, wreaking havoc. There comes Bernie's friend who had left Lee here. He had a dangerous weapon in his hand with which he was killing one by one. When Lee sees him, he asks, "What are you doing here? Have you forgotten the way?" To which Bernie's friend says, "How can I let Bernie's friend die, the one whom Bernie loved so much?" Now both of them face the army of the terrorist. Then they also find the place where their other companions were trapped. When they come to that place and see, they had also left from here. They had also found a way to get out of here, but they didn't have any weapons, and because of this, they couldn't do anything. Now, Lee helps his companions reach them, after which they all reach that bomb that the terrorist had put on the ship to kill them, on which the time of 27 minutes was running. Lee's companions tell him, "What will we do?" To which Lee says, "Don't worry, we have only 27 minutes. After this, the Expendable 4 attacks the army of the terrorist. Everyone was killing them by showing their skill. Lee fights with the terrorist, both were fighting each other. Lee stabs the terrorist, on which he says, "That's all you can do? That's the knife you have?" Now Lee hits his companion's axe and says, "Will you see a bigger knife than this, or is this enough?" Now Lee asks for the bomb's remote. On which the terrorist answers him, "I don't have it, OT has it." Meanwhile, a helicopter also arrives there, in which the terrorist's released companion was. The army had come to drop him, but suddenly the head of the CIA comes there, who kills the companion of that terrorist. Actually, this head was Ocelot, who was a very big gangster and used to work with the terrorists. He had also brought his team here by deceit so that he could bring them here and finish them, and all the blame should come on the terrorist. Now, Lee was also listening to all this, who blows up the helicopter from behind in which OT was going to go. Lee didn't want him to go from there. On the same thing, OT had also thrown the bomb's remote into the water. After which he starts shooting at all the Expendables. Lee tells his companions, "We will have to jump into the water, otherwise, the bomb will explode, and all of us will die. Other than this, we have no other way." Hearing this, Bernie's friend says, "Why jump into the water? My boat is tied behind this ship." Now, all of them come out of the back of the ship and go into Bernie's friend's boat with the help of a rope. When Lee's turn comes, he cuts the rope and says, "Don't let my sacrifice go in vain." There were still 6 minutes left on the bomb. Now, Lee goes into the control room of the ship and changes the direction of the ship so that if the bomb explodes, the ship is not near the city. At that time, OT also makes arrangements for a boat for himself and tells his men that none of the Expendables should survive. But he didn't know that the Expendables had gone long ago. Now only Lee was left on the ship. That's why they start firing blindly at Lee. Lee was also firing bullets in response, but soon his gun runs out of bullets. Then he sees a helicopter coming towards him, and it drops a bomb on the ship. When Lee comes out and looks, OT was still alive. He was still telling him to fight with him. When Lee goes to fight him, he takes out his gun by deceit. Then the helicopter comes from above and also attacks Ocelot, due to which he also died. There was no one else in the helicopter but Bernie, who was still alive. Lee is shocked to see him like this. Now, he sits with him in the helicopter and leaves from there. When they come a little farther, suddenly there is a blast in the ship. In the helicopter, Lee asks Bernie, "How did you survive? I myself saw your dead body." Bernie says, 25 years ago, I was on a mission in which my 8 companions were killed. Only its file could have come out when I died. That's why I did all this drama. If I hadn't done all this drama, we would never have known about OT. I just wanted to kill him." Lee asks, "Where did you get this helicopter from?" He says, "My friend, old links are sometimes useful." Now all the Expendables, having completed their mission and to celebrate Bernie's resurrection, were gathered in a bar. Lee asks Bernie, "Whose dead body was in that plane in which you were sitting?" He says, "Do you remember the man who stole your ring?" Both of them began to smile at this, and with this, our film's story ends here. Thus, we reach the end of this film. Thanks for watching. You can like this video to support us. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. See you in the next video. Goodbye.